Hi, healing homies. It's your honest homegirl, 𝐘𝐨𝐮𝐫, and this is your intuitive timeless reading. So when you see this reading is for you. Take what resonates, what doesn't resonate, leave for another healing homie. With that said, how I do my readings, I do your intuitive message first, and then we get into your collective honest talking tarot session. So, collective, my healing homies, what's up with you guys? I missed you. A lot of you guys have been focusing on true happiness. Okay, you guys have been focusing on fulfilling every aspect of your life, making sure you are content in love with self and others, content with your finances, content with your spirituality, content with how you look physically, content with, like you're doing everything that's going to make you happy. Okay, you're marrying the people that make you happy. You are loving on the people that love you. You are dealing with people that only reciprocate that same energy that you're giving. You are not accepting anything less than that. Because I feel like in the past, a lot of you guys have had either mother or father wounds growing up as a child where you may have lacked parents that, they didn't have emotional intelligence. They didn't tell you that they loved you. They didn't tell you they were proud of you. They didn't tell you how much of a joy you were in their world. I'm feeling like a lot of you guys dealt with parents that were emotionally detached. Okay, some of you are and then my candle goes out. Hold on, guys. Let me get one more candle. So it's like a lot of you guys, I feel like with that candle going out, that may have hit a nerve, it may have triggered you to think back on your childhood. For some of you, you may have lost a parent at a very early age, okay? And that includes myself, okay? You may have dealt with abandonment issues, whether the parent was alive or dead, they weren't in your life, okay? Like they should have been or how you may have wanted them to be, okay? And that has, left some type of scarring on your heart. But I feel like because you've been working through these energies, you've been working to heal yourself, okay, from those pains and sorrows and frustrations of growing up with or without both parents. Ooh, you hear that? For some of you, you're realizing now that everything had to happen for a reason, right? Everything transpired as it should have. And we all received the parents that we needed growing up. May not have been what we wanted, 333 on the phone, but the parents that we needed. And even though the experience with those parents may not have been the best, you would never have gone through what you went through to be where you are today if those things did not transpire that way. Some of you guys have great jobs right now, but if you didn't go through the trials and the tribulations that were dealt to you, you wouldn't have that perfect job. Some of you guys are in I wouldn't say perfect marriages, but fulfilling marriages, commitments, relationships with people. But you wouldn't have gotten that and received that if you didn't go through what you went through in your childhood, in your past, okay? A lot of you guys had to learn how to love yourselves. A lot of you guys had to learn how to nurture yourselves and protect yourselves and be your own cheerleader and your own hero. A lot of you guys had to learn what true happiness was without having it. 444 on the phone. Because you didn't have it growing up, you knew exactly what it was that you wanted growing up because you didn't have it as a child. Okay? You wanted a partner that, acknowledged your emotions and your feelings and, you know, didn't belittle you in any way, shape, or form. You wanted someone that, you know, accepted you for who you were. 511 on the phone. And it's like, you would have never known what it is that you wanted if you didn't go through what you didn't want. That's kind of like dating. You know, this is why people date, because you date different types of people and you kind of figure out what you want and what you don't want out of life, right? And same thing goes with your parents, because at the end of the day, your parents are the first people to teach you about same-sex relationships and opposite-sex relationships, okay? If you're a female, your father was your first love. And your mom was the person that taught you about conducting yourself with other women. Same thing with men. Your mother was your first love, and your father, 555 on the phone, was the first person to teach you how to conduct yourself with around other men. You know what I'm saying? So it's like those relationships came first, and kind of set the tone. And even though that tone may have not been the best, it kind of showed you what it was that you did not want in relationships with the same and opposite sex. Okay. I do feel like now you guys are at that point where you are allowing things to flow to you naturally. When it comes to relationships, you're not forcing things. You're not looking for it anymore, because you're realizing in the past you were doing that and you ended up with everything that you did not want. So you have learned to surrender to spirit and allow spirit to sit there and bring someone on your frequency. So if you've been loving yourself and nurturing yourself and picking yourself back up and giving yourself those pep talks and really taking care of you, you are showing the world how you want to be taken care of. And with that energy and with that frequency, spirit sees that you are emotionally fulfilling yourself, the masculine and feminine sides of yourself. Spirit is going to reciprocate that energy, because that's what you're putting out there in the world. 711 on the phone. You're going to receive that very soon if you have not already. Okay, so continue working on yourselves, healing homies. I'm really, really proud of you guys. And the more you release, the more you will receive. Trust and believe that. Okay, so with that said, let's get into your Honest Talking Tarot session, shall we? I'm really loving this little light thing that I got from Walmart. It does all these different little colors. But right now, I've been obsessed with this little light right here instead of my ring light. It gives me like this nice little laid back groove thing type of energy with my little planties over here. But yeah. Oh, and then we have emotions here. Okay. So a lot of you guys, you've been balancing out your emotions. You've been expressing yourself a lot more. You've been speaking your truth, whether people like it or not. But I feel like you're doing it where 808 on the phone, where, you know, it's coming from a place of love and trust. And even for some of you, you still kind of get caught up in the moment, but then you catch yourself because you're starting to become aware, 818 on the phone, on how you deliver things. So you may have slipped up and said things in a way that you could have delivered it a lot better because you was caught up, because you was passionate about whatever it was that you were talking about. But because you're aware of it, you're learning to change those behaviors, and change is good versus you sitting there saying that you don't need to change. But at least you're aware that you're changing and you're healing. All right. Let's get some cards. What's going on with my healing homies? Yeah, see how you deliver things, how you message, you respond to people, how you talk to people. It used to be negative, but now with it in the reverse, you are learning to talk differently to people, and people are responding differently to you. 911 on the phone. So basically, it's like what you put out is what you get back. For some of you guys, you may have not responded to an emotional text message, DM, something from somebody. Let's see what's going on. Let's get 2 more cards. You probably didn't even receive the message because you blocked their asses. Or they may have blocked you. Take it how it resonates. That's too many. Let's get one more. Well, I'll take these right here. Okay. Which one fell to the ground? And where did it go? Okay. All right. We'll take it. Okay. All right, guys. So it's like either you sent a message about how you feel to a family member because you were guided to do so. And it could have been a positive message, but I feel like somebody was blocked and that loved one didn't receive that message. Okay? And if you weren't the one sending the message, someone sent you a message. And that message was a heartfelt message. They were guided to sit there and, bring peace into a situation, but somebody was blocked. So that love there that was expressed was never received. This could have been with family members. 1111 on the phone. This could have been something pertaining to family members. Okay. For some of you guys, you've been getting divine messages from above. Heavy on the female ancestors and spirit guides. They've been sending you messages, whether it's through dreams, whether it's through visions, whether it's you see a billboard or a song, or however you channel messages. 1144 on the phone is how they are responding to you. Okay, I feel like a lot of you guys have turned negative situations into positive ones, where you are starting to see things from a more healed perspective versus you seeing things from a victim mentality. You're looking at things from a victor's mentality. Many of you guys have blocked out your emotions at one point in time, or you may have been very, very numb to your emotions. And now that you've been healing and now that you've been releasing things, you're starting to feel again. And you may have had to feel that cliche quote, feel it to heal it, but it's true, and you had to feel it to heal it, especially in family dynamics. Like I keep going back to childhood. So a lot of you guys may have been in therapy. Maybe a lot of you guys have been blocked from your emotions because you grew up in a household where it's like you knew your family loved you, but they never expressed their feelings. Like they never was like, oh, I love you. Come give me a hug and a kiss. Like you didn't have that nurturing, loving mom. It's like you knew she loved you because of the things she did for you. You knew your dad loved you because you knew they provided and protected. But that's as far as that went. Like, so a lot of you guys grew up in emotionalist homes, and it's like you could have been a water sign, like a Scorpio moon or a Pisces sun or a Cancer sun or a Cancer moon or a Pisces moon. And like you had some real deep watery energy within you. And it was like, you couldn't even have that in your household. Like you grew up with like straight thugs. Like these people had no emotion whatsoever. And it's like, eventually the thug cries. It's like eventually the thug cries, and you were the thug that cried. And it's like you finally, after a while of blocking out your emotions, you're releasing them. And it feels good to do so because it's like you are surrounding yourself around people that understand that understand you, that understand that you may be more sensitive than others, or you may have broken a barrier with a family member where it's like for instance with me, I grew up in a household where my dad, I didn't ever hear him tell anybody, even his own wife, like, oh, I love you, or was very romantic in front of us. Like, you know how some parents, they be kissing and hugging up on they spouse in front of the kids, and the kids be like, ew, ew, ew. But little do they know, like, deep down inside, they freaking love it because it's like they're going to find a partner that loves and adores them just as much as their mom and dad loves and adore each other. I didn't see that. Me and my siblings didn't see that. But it was like we grew up in a household where we knew our parents loved us because of all the things that they did for us. They made sure we were clothed. They made sure our needs were met. Our wants were met. Like we had everything that we wanted, except for like super, super expensive things. Like thinking like we were Beyonce and Jay-Z's children. But other than that, our parents provided cars for all of us when we graduated high school and things like that. Like, so, but it was like, it was never one of those environments where it was like our emotions were expressed 15-15 on the phone. And that's something that maybe a lot of you guys have had to heal from. And you told yourself growing up that when you decide to have a family, you're going to express all those feelings and those emotions. Your children are going to know that they love you, that you love them, and they're going to hear it and they're going to feel it, type of thing. And for some of you, you've even broken barriers with your own parents where it's like your parents tell you, I love you now. And maybe you had to force that upon them a little bit to where it was like you may have said it more so than them and they never said it back for a while. But now eventually now they're sitting there saying it back to you type of energy. And you may have had to work on that. I know I had to do that with my own dad. And I had that discussion with him recently on his birthday when we had traveled to Atlanta about how, I didn't hear those things from him. But it's like he's learned to compromise with the people that he care about. And if you care about someone, you compromise with them. Doesn't matter the relationship. And I'm like, look at it now. Before we get off the phone, we tell each other I love you all the time now. 15 years ago, you wasn't hearing that on the phone. It was like, okay, bye. Now I'm working on my grandfather because my grandfather will be like, later. You don't never hear him say, oh, I love you, talk to you later. It's always, all right, later. All right, Wookie, later. Like, what? Like, no, I love you. But I'm about to get with him. He gonna get with the program too, where it's like, you gonna sit there and tell us that you love us, because I know you do. Because if you didn't love us, you wouldn't do the things that you do for us. But society has it where men are not supposed to, quote unquote, be sensitive or have any type of emotional intelligence. But shit's flipping the script now, where everybody is going to start gaining emotional intelligence. And I feel like when it comes to family, you're creating a family that you want. Okay, the family that you've always wanted growing up. And for others of you, you're finally, now that you went through the trials and the tribulations as a child and as an adult now, your family is coming together like you've always wanted it to, for some of you guys. Because there was a blockage there when it came to love, especially in the love and when it came to family. Everybody, it seemed like they were dealing with their own struggles with love. Your parents had their own struggles with love because their parents had struggles with love and expressing themselves. There were blockages there, and it's like you're realizing your parents did the best that they could with the knowledge that they had. And I know a lot of us that have taken the initiative to heal our traumas before having children or even while having children. You may look at it as, well, our parents had the option to heal. Our parents could have changed, but they didn't. 18 on the phone. But everybody, we have to understand, when you truly heal and you see things from a healed perspective, you realize that, yes, they may have had the opportunity to, or maybe the knowledge was there. Again, everything to us is at the touch of our fingers. Google. Back in the day, they had to go to the damn library, look in that little catalog thing, I forgot what it's called, look for the number, then go find the book. When did our parents have the time to do that type of shit, to find a self-help book, when they got 5 kids to feed, 3 kids to feed, 2 jobs, a mortgage, a car note, and everything else? They didn't have that. You start to realize that the opportunities may have been there, but they didn't have the time to do that. They were working literally half the time. And for others, they may have been on drugs, and that was a demon that they had to fight. But everybody's journey is different. You have to also accept the fact that maybe your parents weren't the ones that were supposed to wake up this lifetime, and it was you. You were the chosen one to wake up this lifetime. Again, we were born into the families that we were born into because we needed to be in those families to build character, to build structure, to build discipline, to build our own morals and values, to build who we are at our core and become the person that we've always were meant to be. But you had to go through that pain to get to pleasure. You had to sit there and make your pain a paycheck now. You had to sit there and have, these negative attributes and aspects of your life and the negative parenting, and you know, for you to realize that maybe gentle parenting may work better for you than, you know, the parenting that you may have gotten that was militant, you know? Like, the thing is, spirit may have been, because you've been on the up and up, because you've been so positive, because you've been so, because I'm kind of, spirit telling me I'm getting sidetracked, so let's go back. You know, because you've done the inner work on yourself, you may feel that love has been blocked out of your life. And it has. And the only reason why love has been blocked out of your life for so long is because spirit needed you to work on you for a little bit. Spirit needed you to love on you just a little bit more. Spirit needed you to understand who you were and why you went through what you went through, so that when you do find your 10 of cups, when you do find the love of your life, you're going to appreciate them. You're going to express how you feel. The thing is, you're going to get your reflection, okay? And your reflection is who you are within. So if you within are loving yourself, validating yourself, accepting yourself, guess what? 21 on the phone. You're going to receive that. It's okay to be single for a little while. I feel everybody should experience being single for a little while. Not for the rest of your life, but just enough time for you to really get to know yourself. Because a lot of your parents grew up and got into marriages and relationships and had children and had no idea who the hell they were. People don't realize that a human's brain does not fully develop until at least the age of 25. So if your parents had you below the age of 25, they didn't know who the hell they were. They had no idea who they were. They were kids. Literally, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, kids. Your grandparents were kids. It was just kids raising kids, kids. Everybody was kids, and their emotions were childlike. Guess what? What do you think is going to happen with you when you were growing up? 22 on the phone. You grew up with parents that were immature, mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. And guess what? You were the chosen one to break those cycles. That's why a lot of people in my generation and the generation after me are waiting to have children. Those that are aware and have become, enlightened, you're realizing that no, we have to fix us within before we have that family. Because we remember how we grew up. And we don't want our kids growing up that way. So yeah, our parents are going to be old-ass grandparents. Yes, they are. My father over here already asking for a grandchild. I'm like, oh, you might get one from one of my brothers before you get one from me. Okay? I just got to the point of loving myself and accepting myself and really getting to know myself and dating myself. Because in the past, I sat there, was looking for love in all the wrong places. Don't get it twisted now. I always picked a man that knew how to provide and protect. But what they all lacked was emotional intelligence. And I had to learn to have emotional intelligence myself, because if I loved myself, I wouldn't have been dating people that lacked emotional intelligence, right? But now that I've been loving myself and working on myself, I see it. I see the red flags of, oh, you're a great provider. Yeah, you got a great job. Yeah, you got a nice house. Yeah, you got great credit. Yeah, you got shit in order. But do you see me? Do you feel me? I don't know if you do. And then you also got the ones that are emotional intelligent, but they don't know how to provide and protect. Because they got mother wounds and father wounds. And it's like, so dating, when you're healing, dating gets a lot harder than regular dating. It's like, you thought it was bad just regular dating. Imagine being healed and healing and dating. Oh, trust me. The options get slimmer and slimmer. But it's okay, because the person that's going to come into your life is worth the wait. The person that's going to love you right and the person that you're going to have a family with is worth the wait. So when spirit is blocking you from love, best believe it's for your highest good and for your protection. Don't get mad, okay? Don't feel like, oh, you're not worthy of love and stuff like that. No, spirit just wants you to work on you just a little bit longer And when you stop thinking about it, that's when somebody just appears in your life and you're like, oh, I was not looking for you, but hello, how are you? Okay? So, yeah, continue to work on, those generational curses, those childhood traumas. Continue working on yourself mentally and emotionally, physically, spiritually, sexually, financially. Okay? Keep loving on yourself, because when you love on yourself and you have children, whether in your relationship or marriage or not, and you make sure you take care of you first and then everybody else, you teach your kids to do the same. They just going to follow suit on whatever it is that you do. So let's get some homegirl advice and we'll wrap this up. So we have all the answers are within you, okay? Sometimes you just got to sit still, healing homies, to receive the answers that you seek. Sometimes those answers are in billboards. Sometimes those answers are in movies. Sometimes those answers are, in songs. And not to get off track, but I remember, all my favorite Disney movies, and what they all had in common was the fact that the child was raised by a single parent, and one of the parents had always died. And it's crazy because that was my life story. My mom passed away was murdered when I was 1. And it's like, to think about Aladdin with Jasmine and her dad. She was raised by her dad. For a while, it was just me and my dad until he had got remarried and then had my 2 brothers, right? The Lion King was another favorite of mine. Simba had lost his dad at a very early age. He actually watched his father die, by a family member at that. Then I had The Little Mermaid, same thing. Mom was gone. Dad raised her. Pocahontas, same thing. Mom was gone. Dad raised her. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, when you think back on a lot of your childhood, I would honestly look at your favorite movies from when you were a child. I don't know why I said that, but there was a reason why I said that. So go look back at your favorite movies from when you were a child, because there's a message for some of you. 2727 on the phone. For some of you guys, hot yoga can help you relieve some stress, okay? Especially when you're tensed and things of that nature. It says you are more intuitive than you think, okay? You have these gifts, okay? You know what's right for you, what's wrong for you. You know who's right for you, who's wrong for you. You know what you need and what you don't need. The thing is, you got to speak your truth and walk in your truth at all times. And unicorn spirit, you're different. And you're different for a reason. And it says it's time to think big, okay? So healing homies, that was your reading. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next time. Bye.